Hey everyone, John from Nintendolife here, and it's that time of the month again where I talk about the Wii U. Now it's no secret that a major chunk of Switch's first-party library comes from these games. Every single one of these is now on the Switch. So I thought it'd be fun to rank them and see which one's the best, which one's the worst, because they're not all created equal. Some have more content, some are just technically better, and one of them, at least I believe, is outright worse. So without further ado, pre-recorded John, take it away. Oh, also, just to preface, I know there are more than 10 Wii U to Switch ports, but we're just counting the ones ported by Nintendo. So games like Maiden of Blackwater and Wonderful 101 had nothing to do with Nintendo on their Switch versions, so we're not ranking them. But if we were, Wii U would come out on top, because this has a Zelda costume. And I've always wanted to play a Zelda in a horror game. So, Wii U always wins, baby. Alright, starting on a low note with New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Now, I've always been a bit hard on this game, and that's because I think it does the worst thing a port could possibly do, and that's be inferior to the original. I mean, yeah, it's technically better, it runs at 1080p on Switch and 720p on Wii U, but the problem is the game. On Wii U, there was this great balance. Every player played identically, and no one had an advantage over the others. But Switch replaces one of the Toads with Toadette, and she is even labelled as the easy mode. So if you're playing in a group of 4, one of you is just going to have an easier time, and that's not always so fun. Like, there's merit there, like let's say you're playing with a younger sister or a younger brother, then playing as Toadette, yeah, that's fine. But there was no need to replace both of the Toads to do that. In fact, the other Toad is still hidden in the game, it's just you can't use them both at the same time for some reason. Toadette gets 3-ups rather than 1-ups, and instead of the Super Acorn, she gets the Super Crown. This turns her into Peachette, which is basically a squirrel just with much more versatility. It's really the same game, but Toadette being mandatory in 4-player just feels a lot worse. You also lose the 5th player on the gamepad, and while that wasn't integral to the game, it really could be a lot of fun in groups of 5. No longer does the 5th person just sit out, they can join in too, but on Switch, no. And also the loading times are quite a bit longer too. Oh, and the weirdest thing, the spin, rather than being on the R button, is now on the same button as jump. So if you press jump just before you land, you'll do a spin instead, and sometimes that can kill you. But do you want to hear something even stranger? The traditional input for spin is still in the game, it's just hidden behind a title screen code. So Mario U Deluxe, I think is the worst Wii U port so far. The word Deluxe is hardly even earned. The Wii U had a bundle that combined both Mario U and Luigi U. This isn't new. And at number 9, we have Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2. On paper, these are really vanilla ports, as in they don't even change the resolution. It's 720p on Wii U, 720p undocked, and 720p docked. The big difference though is the frame rate. It aims for 60 on all platforms, but the Wii U basically never found 60. It's still not crazy consistent on Switch, but it does hit 60 far more often. It just feels way better to play. And also it's portable Bayonetta, that rocks! Both games have all the stuff the Wii U version had, so you can play the game as Link, or Samus, or Peach, or Daisy if you want to. And in Bayonetta 2, when you play as Fox in this level, you get a full-on Star Fox experience. There's also some amiibo support to get items, and that actually hinted Rodin's assist trophy appearance before Smash was even announced. That's pretty cool. So neither of these games do that much to differ themselves from the Wii U version, but they're still absolutely best played on Switch. Oh, this one kinda stings. At number 8 is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which in my opinion is one of the best platformers ever made. So why is it so low? Well, cause as a port, it barely does anything. I mean, the cover reverses now and... oh look, Funky Kong! Unlike Toadette, Funky Kong is entirely optional, and this guy knows he's in easy mode, and he rocks it. You can stand on spikes with your surfboard, you can double jump in the air. It's just a fun way to re-experience a pretty tricky game, and for some people, this may be their preferred way to play. I tend to stick with DK though, making this a very similar game to the original. However, it has gone from 720p on Wii U to 1080p on Switch, which is a great thing because this is one of the most beautiful games Nintendo's ever developed. It looks better than ever. And loading times on Wii U were pretty bad, but on Switch, they're like double the speed. So while the gameplay itself is hardly changed, this is still a much better game on Switch and one of the very best games ever made. Go play it! And at number 7, we have Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. Now, the Wii U version barely used the gamepad. There were some points in the game where you get text messages and you kind of scroll through on the gamepad, and to be honest, I liked it. I thought it was really cute. That's just a menu now, and that's fine. It's unfortunately still 720p on both Wii U and Switch, although battles do load faster on Switch, so you can save some time there. The big difference is the Encore stuff. As you play through the game, you'll gradually find new EX chapters. They feel a little shoehorned in. They're basically these very, very simple dungeons. They're mostly just flat, and there's chests in there giving you some new stuff, like Joker's outfit from Persona 5, or some Three Houses outfits. But while these new dungeons are very simple, they do come with some new content. There's a little bit more story diving further into the characters, and it even allows non-playable characters to take part in the combat, so characters like Barry and Tiki can now join in combos. There's a brand new song in there too, but honestly, all this side content is incredibly short. It really doesn't add that much. I've always really liked Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It's one of the best RPGs on the Wii U, and one of the only RPGs on the Wii U, but still, it is very good. It's not the most in-depth port, but it is better on Switch than it is Wii U. Number 6 is Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and this one had me thinking for a while. In terms of new content, this is one of the most rich ports on the Switch. You can play the entire game co-op now? That's awesome! There's also new story chapters with Olimar and Louie. On top of that, there's difficulty modes, adding even more challenge to the game. They more than earned the word deluxe, so why am I a bit hesitant here? Well, I frankly believe the game just controls better on Wii U, and they're both 720p as well. No matter how hard the Joy-Con tries, it's not a Wii remote. When there's no sensor bar syncing things up, it just doesn't feel as seamless anymore. Your cursor is drifting constantly, and while it's fixed with just the press of a button, it becomes a bit intrusive. Now granted, pointing isn't the only control scheme, and you can play with just buttons. That works fine, but the Wii remote was so perfect for Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 that it's quite hard to go back. This was just the perfect control scheme for this game, and what Switch offers isn't on par. So Pikmin 3 Deluxe is a more robust version and more of the better ports on the system, but still, it's not quite definitive. At number 5 we have Pokkén Tournament DX, and Pokkén on Wii U is very funny. So this game came out first in Japanese arcades and later was ported to Wii U. As you can tell by the character select screen, there's meant to be a lot more Pokemon. This is a very strange shape, but the Wii U never got more Pokemon. There's just 4 very strange gaps, and the arcade gradually filled them while the Wii U was left behind. But then came Pokkén Tournament Deluxe, filling in those gaps, and then some. DX got all the arcade fighters, but it also got some brand new DLC. And once the DLC was done, we were left with another incomplete rectangle. God, this space haunts me. When all is said and done, the Switch version has 10 more playable characters, and that's a lot. It's close to double the roster. There's also a few more minor changes, like more assist Pokemon and some new stages. And while both Switch and Wii U are 720p, they're different kinds of 720p. Switch is a full 1280x720, but Wii U was a very strange 960x720. So it looks a lot sharper now, and runs a lot better too. There's really no debate with this one. The Switch version's just better in every way. And at number 4 is the best-selling game on the system, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And yeah, that's not best-selling port, that's the best-selling game, out of all the games. I know many of us are quite tired of this game by now, but still, it is a really good port. It was 720p on Wii U and a full 1080p on Switch, and also the Wii U version had a very strange frame rate. It was 60 FPS, but every second drops a frame. It was technically 59 FPS rather than 60. It felt fine for the most part, but you can feel that frame skip when you're looking for it. Anyway, battle mode on Wii U sucked. There basically weren't any battle arenas, and so you drive around full-fledged racetracks just trying to find someone. It was empty, it was boring. Why are people still playing this? It's still active online for some reason. The big fix in Deluxe is giving us a proper battle mode. On top of that, all the DLC from the Wii U version's included, so there's 48 tracks to play, and a heck of a lot of characters, some being brand new to Deluxe. There's King Boo, Dry Bones, Bowser Jr., even the Inklings from Splatoon are here. It's just simply a better version of one of the best Mario Kart games. It may feel old to a lot of us, but it really is one of the best ports on Switch. And at number 3, we have Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Now, when this came out, it was a little bit standard. The Wii U version was 720p and the Switch version is 1080p. That's a nice bump, but for the most part, these were very, very similar games. The Wii U version was quite focused on the gamepad, but everything that you do on the gamepad is perfectly fine when using touch. And if you're playing on the TV, the gyro cursor works fine. You're not pointing all the time, so drift wasn't so much of an issue. So why is this number 3? Well, because as time went on, Captain Toad somehow became a much more impressive game. I mean, it launched with some Odyssey levels, and they were very cool, but they were also very short. But then came the Labo VR update. This is unironically one of my favourite VR experiences. They remixed a bunch of levels for VR, and it just works, it's really impressive. Then came the free co-op update, where you can play the entire game with a friend. Very neat, but then they added even more with paid DLC. There's 18 challenges with 5 brand new courses. Captain Toad on Switch became something far more than the Wii U version. It doesn't just look and play better, but there's so much more to do. It was one of the Wii U's best games, and now it's one of the Switch's. Alright, number 2 is Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. So what makes this the second best port on the Switch? Well, this isn't really a port of the Wii U game, it's more a port of the 3DS game using the Wii U visuals. Hyrule Warriors Legends on 3DS was a very funny joke. They basically took the Wii U game, squeezed it all down to the 3DS, and then improved the foundation, so you've got these interesting visuals, but the game itself is way better. You can switch characters on the fly whenever you want to, and give them orders too. There's times on Wii U where you're running around the entire map, but there's no need for that now. You can just manage everything, it's way more fun. On top of that, there's a bunch more content, including a campaign where you play as Linkle. Some of the 3DS content came to Wii U, but it wasn't quite the same. You could play as 3DS characters like Toon Link and Skull Kid, but all the maps and extra story, they weren't in the Wii U version. So this Switch port is basically the Wii U Foundation with a bunch of 3DS stuff, and it runs way better too. It's gone from the Wii U 720p to a full 1080p, and the Wii U's frame rate wasn't very good. It would dip way down to the low 20s, and even further down than that at times. Now, Switch performance isn't perfect. It aims for 60 FPS rather than 30, and it can hit it, but it doesn't most of the time. Still, the lowest it goes is like the highest the Wii U goes. This is a game you can spend over 1,000 hours in, there's so much content, and this really is the definitive version. So what's the best Wii U port? At number 1, we have Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Even if we ignore Bowser's Fury, this would probably still be the best Wii U port. Like most ports, it goes from 720p to 1080p. That's to be expected. What's not to be expected is the game runs so much faster. The fastest character on Wii U is slower than the slowest character on Switch. They increase the movement speed and it's just so much more fun. The dive from Odyssey is in here too, making things feel a bit more flexible. You can even play the entire game online. The Captain Toad stages are multiplayer now. All the gamepad functionality is just gyro, meaning everyone can use it, not just the gamepad user. And there's even a photo mode. Even when we're just talking 3D World, this game is very impressive. But then there's Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury is my current Game of the Year for 2021. This short game feels like the future of 3D Mario. It's so much fun to travel around this one big open world and just do a bunch of platforming challenges. There's too much to say for this video, but man, it's just jolly. Bowser's Fury is meant to be the bonus, but 3D World is kind of the bonus in this example. It's simply the best Mario's been in a very long time. This is, without a single doubt, the best Wii U port on Switch. So what do you guys think about these rankings, and do you disagree with any of them? Was I too harsh on some games, or a bit too positive? Let us know in the comments below, and of course go that subscribe button and push it from Wii U to Switch, and we'll see you next time. Bye everyone.